no one has any idea where this car is even from. I talked to a kid named Alex Spinner, who's pretty well known in the Facebook community on the P2 chassis, which is 2004 to 2007. And he reaches out to me and says, hey, I got this magic blue Atacama leather interior, that tan, beautiful Volvo interior from like the mid 2000s. He says, I got this, but I have like a ton of other cars coming in. He parts out ours all the time. Do you want to buy it? And it has the manual M66 transmission. And I go, absolutely yes. I'm holding in my hand a clean New York title, and I go to the DMV in New Jersey, and they tell me I have a junk status car. Now, if you don't know what a junk status car is, it's when it can never be driven on the road. Per New Jersey law, you can never drive that car. It must be scrapped or sold for scrap. So I'm sitting there with a clean New York title and a junk status title in my hand and said, oh my God, we just lost $10,000. I'm freaking out. I have to do all of this work because the New Jersey DMV basically tells me we can't do anything. And this is from an investigator in the New Jersey Department of Motor Vehicles saying, I cannot do anything for you. You have to do all the legwork. I'm like, well, then why are you an investigator? That makes literally no sense to me. So I go back home. I hop on Carfax, Nimvitus, and I honestly should have put it into VINwiki, but I stupidly did not. Should have downloaded the app and should have just seen if there was a history to this car at all. Now, this is no fault of the seller because I have a clean title. So I thought I was gonna walk in, walk out. I could drive this car, open up its 5-cylinder glory on the highway and just have a blast. He basically tells me, no, nothing happened to this car. It was a free and clear purchase through me. So I'm not exactly sure what to tell you. He even offered to buy it back from me. So it was a really good situation on the back end, but I wanted this car really bad because it was cool, it's rare, it sounds great. And I know that we could have tuned it and still can tune it to beat an M3 on track, on the drag strip, and in pretty much every way possible. I just really like this car, so I want to keep it. So I go home and I hop on the Carfax and Nimvitus is the one that says, okay, it is a junk status car. Well, okay, let's figure it out from there. Go on the Carfax. It has a bit of a sordid history. It was owned in Minnesota for 8 years and then totaled out. It was then fixed by a car transport company in Michigan and resold and used as another daily driver essentially for another 4.5, 5 years. So where is this junk status coming from? On the forums, people were saying stay away from it. There's a tree that fell on it. Something definitely happened to it because on one side of the car, one of the door panels, not panels, but one of the door entries. So you open the door and then the top of the entry, the roof, actually is bowed in. So something definitely fell on the car or hit it with great velocity from above. I don't know what it was, a tree or what, but it definitely needs to, it looked like it was repaired, but it needs to be redone again because it still is bowed. But they did that. I think they did the best they can. Yeah. What the New Jersey DMV told me was you have to call all the DMVs of every state it's ever been in. So I'm on the phone with the Minnesota DMV, the Wisconsin DMV where it was totaled out, the Michigan DMV, and the New York DMV. So basically the entire Rust Belt other than New Jersey. Figure out that no one has any idea where this car is even from. The Minnesota DMV doesn't even have a record of it in their database because a lot of DMVs, if you don't know, they have a 7-year purge status where after 7 years, a lot like people on their taxes, they just get rid of all of their documents. So I'm SOL with a lot of this stuff. The best one that helped me out was New York because that was the most recent purchase. Michigan, even only 5 years previous, still didn't really have anything. So this was essentially a ghost car. I really thought that I would have to give this car to New Jersey and watch it just get crushed in front of me, which is incredibly sad because there was only about 3,400 of these cars ever made for that generation imported to the US, and they have a huge following. So after all this digging, it took about 20 to 30 hours of my life over the course of 2 weeks. I finally go back to the DMV and said, look, here's the story. And it's basically everything I've just told you. The guy goes, hang on 1 second. Same guy, same investigator, goes in the back, makes a phone call, comes back out, here's your clean title. And I'm like, how did you do that when I was in here 2 weeks ago and you said, I need to do all of this legwork myself? Oh, I made a phone call. Someone checked the wrong box when they transferred the title from New York to New Jersey, or something in that process. And I go, you could have saved me 2 weeks and 30 hours of my life by making a phone call when I asked you to do so in the first place. But instead, I had to do all of this, and I thought I lost the car, essentially. I believe that the title from New York was clean, and New Jersey then went back into the system, saw it was totaled out, and I think they rectified it. And I believe my title says either rebuilt or salvaged. Lo and behold, as it turns out, I didn't lose the car, and we've done a lot of stuff to the car, which is really, really interesting. We're restoring the whole interior. It has that beautiful tan Atacama leather interior that is just disgusting. So I got in touch with a company called Fibrenew, where they basically like shave the seat down, use the shavings, fill the gaps, re-dye, the whole nine. Really, really cool kind of process. We also are tuning it. We have support from FCP Euro with a little bit of sponsor money for some Go Fast bits, which is really, really cool. And we are going to make it an M3 killer. It's got a coilover suspension. It has a full turbo back exhaust that was custom hand built by a guy that used to own these cars. And when we put it on at my shop, the guy looked at it and go, who did this? This is gorgeous. And this is from a performance restoration shop. It pulls fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with the car at all. The airbag system is perfectly in check. The Vita software that you need to read those old cars, there's literally nothing on it as far as real bad juju or anything. So it's good. So it was one of those situations where it turned out great. We still own the car, and it's really, really fun to drive. And I'm really glad that it just didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to. And now we have something that people can actually watch and enjoy, and the response has been incredibly positive to it.
I'd like to thank the guys at Avalon King for supporting the channel this month. If you want to try it out yourself, there's a link in the description below.